Or is it live now?
I don't. It's prepping. Cole, do you want to do the intro this time? Hey,
Yeah.
welcome to day 5.
Oh, actually, you do that. You're
Okay.
so much better than me.
Okay.
I'd probably pass out or something.
Great, we're live. Hey everyone, good afternoon and welcome to day 5 of Crypto Art Week. We are in the studio with Gisel Florez. You know her as Gisel X Florez. You can find her on Twitter at Gisel, that's Gisel Florez with a Z on Twitter. I'm your host, Lady Phoenix. This will be a talk between Coldy and Gisel. Enjoy.
Thanks.
Well, thanks, Giselle, for coming. This is awesome. I've always wanted to have just an artist talk with you. So I've seen
Cool.
your past interviews, especially with Josie, and it's just awesome to see like what's in the artist studio, like what types of stuff you're working on, your backgrounds. It's so diverse, and it's just really fascinating to me. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's fun to speak about art whenever I get the chance, really.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah,
how's it been going so far? Is this like second to last?
Going, I mean, gosh, it's we literally spun this up 2 weeks ago. We were like, let's just do something, right? Let's try it. I didn't know if one person would show up or if nobody would, and it was a resoundingly positive response. We've been adding panels, we've been expanding and morphing, and it's really great to get everyone together and to hear from all sides. There's the first time you do something, it's never perfect, so it's awesome to get the community like to have feedback. So it's a win-win. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and the more we can reach into the artists' lives and find out about their path and how they work, the more interesting the artwork becomes. Sometimes not. It's depending on perception and everything. But I love learning about artists and how they work behind the scenes. So I'm here to offer it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what I'm also finding out is, in doing this, we were kind of thinking about bringing the crypto art community, the established community, together. But now there's so many people who are just DMing us and saying, I had no idea what this was. Like, I literally am taking notes, and they're getting like a graduate course in crypto art in a week.
Yeah.
And they're so excited. They're like, oh my gosh, I got to start tokenizing. So,
yeah, everybody at all times in this space is learning.
Exactly. Yeah. And day by day, getting, like I was in a studio with Joni, and he was showing me just his projection stuff. It was blowing my mind. I really want to hear about like the light, your light paintings, and just all what you're so experimental that it's just like touching in and seeing like what you're at now. That's what's cool.
Yeah, I've been dabbling in a lot of different initiatives within crypto art and the community and also my art as well. I've explored different blockchains. I have my art in a few different chains like Wax and Engine, and even the digital gold, the Bullionix. There's a lot of different things that artists can explore here. I am all about experimenting and finding out my path as I go, learning what I like, what I don't like, what I'm drawn to, what I feed off of, inspiration. There's so many paths, so many places that we can delve into here as a community of artists that can all communicate with each other. It's never been seen before. Nobody's ever experienced it. It's wild. I'm traditionally photographer since pretty much after college. In college I learned a little bit and traditional film work, and then I kind of have been commercial I did like a decade of commercial work for big companies and brands and labels and everything. And then I started researching digital assets through gaming of my son, that he was really into it. And I was curious to see if there was such a thing for artists. This is now, I've been in crypto for more than a year, learning everything as it's going, as it's developing. The last 6 months have been wild as far as adoption. We're just going to see more and more of that. And shout out to Curating Crypto, Havo and Ikatsa. You know, it's like, that was my first interview so long ago when I knew nothing about any of it. Almost, it was like I felt like I was so like just learning. And now I'm learning, you know, a lot more about community interactions and about the world we can make for ourselves here.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. I look at this as a fractal, right? You know, Havo's a great example, right? Havo was the first one to really do a crypto art podcast, and seeing the magic that he did there, it's its own little microcosm, right? And then that gets bigger, and then more people start talking, and you know, Josie has her own like, and everyone's in their own like their own shows. It's beautiful. No one's really competing. And as that happens, the ecosystems grow. Now you have like Serge doing the daily reports, and you know, Maddie DCL, and you know, Andrew Steinwald. Everyone's like getting a voice, and in that we need more voices, because the next fractal is, you know, the whole art world is coming. So you know, we're I keep saying it sounds cliche, but we're really in this together, and we gotta keep propagating and telling each other stories, because it really does matter, and it teaches people stuff that we take for granted.
Yeah, we're all leading our real, like, I feel like I have 5 or 6 different me's that have been learning all 6, like life, you know, there's like kids, there's so many compartments to our lives, and how we work with it all together. That's the main goal. I have been really excited about all these communications with everybody that has been developing. There's a lot of cool initiatives happening. You know, everybody has they're tapped into their community and what's happening. I can give you a nice overview of a few things that I find really exciting that are happening in the space. One of the things I'm curating an event. Well, there's a few things. There's now even a women's group, which is so needed in the space. The Women of Crypto Art, WOCA. I've helped co-found that thing, and it's growing every minute, and there's so many wonderful people involved in it. A space where women can all talk and have a good time and enjoy each other's art. We're all like here to support each other. And with that, I've also been approached by Block Eureka. They want to do an all Latin American female artist exhibition. So we are going to be doing that mid-November. We're going to be going in-depth interviews to all the artists, hopefully, that are participating in it. We're going to be showing in CryptoVoxel. I'm even incorporating some artists that have never experienced blockchain or crypto art. But with a work that I think, with artwork that really communicates a really beautiful vision. So there's going to be really cool things coming up with that, with Block Eureka. And WOCA as well. There's so many collaborations going on already that are like with Async, there's really wonderful things. I'm not sure how public they are yet, but I don't know. We'll see.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's great to hear. So have you done in CryptoVoxels, have you, like, I think you've done other shows in the past, right? In CryptoVoxels?
This is the first official curation of shows that I'm doing for CryptoVoxel. Right, I have a Pransky Land plot that I put together that's been really fun, with a lot of drop works that I was doing at the time. It's almost like a whole collection of art that I worked on together. There was like a whole bunch of NFTs included in that Pransky Land plot. And what's wonderful about that is it will just be there. You know, it's like for visitors to whenever they feel like going. I love that that's there. I'm really excited that that a bunch of artists again came together as a community to experience each other's vision of what CryptoVoxels can look like. For for me, it was, yeah, no.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I think it's also great that crypto voxels came around at a time for some of us when getting land was attainable. Like we didn't have to be a land baron and throw down 50K for a little square. You could get a little plot and have a piece. It's in our own best interest to throw our art on the wall instead of just squatting on land. So I think it made all of us like instant gallerists. We're just like, wow, what do I do with this space? It's so fascinating.
I had so much fun with it because I started working with the animation on,
Okay.
And the animation is so obscure in a way, the way it's coded, the way you have to like put the coordinates, and they are a continual, it's like a coordinate based on the previous coordinate. So
Ooh, okay.
It's totally different than animation through like a program like After Effects or Photoshop or something. So it was actually super fun, and I used that in my concept with my crypto voxel plot. It's like I have pieces shooting out into the infinity and coming back. It's like there's moments it's like, what if I make something really big and then it goes really, then you don't see it. Like things that you can never do in reality unless you have a really big budget for an installation, which is fantastic for me because I love installations and I am all about, of course, real physical experience in art, but I'm also very computer's beautiful, and there's so many things we can do, especially the fact that everybody can see the work. Everybody can go into the crypto voxel and check it out. That is huge to bring communities together. And so that's my crypto voxel.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. I can't wait to see that, and
Yeah.
keep us in the loop as that comes out, and I can't wait to check it out and share it.
Yeah, the blog. I'm really excited for the artists that we're showing.
And do you have an actual like release day that's going to happen, or is
And
that
November 12th, I think, is the November 12th.
Oh, good. So right around the corner. That's cool.
Yeah, coming soon. I hope we get it all in time. It's also, it's ideas are here, and we have only so much time to do them, and I'm so excited to work on all of them.
I hear you.
Yeah, another thing that's happening too. There's so many wonderful documentaries that people are talking about happening. There's at least 2 or 3 different documentaries for crypto artists that people are putting together. One of them is a Vandal and Gemini Rising. They're coming together. I'm going to be one of the interviewees in there, and there's a few other wonderful artists going to be on their list for that video, which it'll be sometime next year. I don't know timing. But also, and Carlos Maciel also is going to be traveling the world next year. It sounds like, I love hearing all these fun initiatives that are going to be happening for crypto art to go viral.
Yeah, no, it's needed, so as much as we think it's like old hat or like it's just crypto art, it's literally no one even understands what those 2 words together even mean. So
yeah,
we have to make these documentaries. That's awesome.
Too much fun stuff going on with it. Ephemera is one of the platforms that's also coming into town that is run by really great people, and it's very fine art focused for photography and video. It will be a really specific, beautiful platform for artists to be showing. I'm really excited to be part of that, to be one of the artists that will be showing on there.
Can you tell me more, not to cut you off, but I'm actually really interested about photography on the blockchain, because
yes,
it's a different sense, right? You got motion graphics. Some of these things just seem like it would be a perfect situation. And how do you, like, when you're going about doing photography, are there certain types of photographs that you feel are more like on the, not that you're like going for a market, but are there certain different types of photography you think fits better on the blockchain?
I don't know about better,
you know what I'm saying, like your own taste,
yeah, there's so many worlds to it. There's like even, the standard, everything. Photography is so many levels, right now we know it as a very commercial commercial thing where you sell, you could sell things with photography. There's like stock art, that kind of world. And then where I find myself, where I really enjoy is like the experimental, the conceptual photography is where I love to work in. It's freedom to me. When I'm creating, I've done so much of commercial work that it's really liberating. And I've used crypto art to kind of make this new persona, new body of work, like almost a freedom to do whatever I want, with creating. Like I have visions and I try to make them happen, it's so like something like that happened with the lightwave photography. Is like I had, there was like the Andy Warhol can that I did, that's a big X. It's one of the older pieces on Super Rare. And it's actually a rolling can as I took multiple pops of it in camera. It's like a long exposure in a way with working with like multi super fast like flash duration on the packs of light.
Do you want to share your screen? You want to bring it up? Would that be helpful? You're welcome to if you want. I don't want to put you on the spot.
I'm like, I had all these ideas to do visuals, but I feel like I won't be able to really talk about it.
Don't even worry about it. We're good.
If you go to my Super Rare, and Known Origin has actually a lot of the lightwave stuff.
Okay.
Super Rare I use for more conceptual, more like feeling work, like work that I want to give a certain feeling to the art. The Known Origin is the stuff I put on there is very straightforward, like a more visual abstract type work that I do there, like more technical of the works that I've done. The works, so and the Prensky Land visuals that I did with a lot of the drops and a lot of like the droplet work, which is also on Known Origin. I have some on there. They were very macro. They're very macro on like LCD screens, like trying to magnify that like little bit of digital light that we're always looking at. When we're looking at screens, it's all these colors that are already preset in a way, and we're just seeing them, change based on the electrics in them. That's always fascinated me, especially with the old TVs, like you look in and see like what is it made of, that screen. A lot of my stuff is just delving into something deeper, like seeing the micro, looking at the micro and experiencing the macro, like seeing how one element, if you can work on one element in your life, you can change your whole being,
Sure.
That's where I've been trying to like get the meat of my work, with waves. I kind of want to read my artist statement that I've been working on.
Yes, please.
Because I think it's important. I don't know, at least for me to be able to like say it. I'm going to read it, okay?
Yes, please do.
The transmission of energy is at the core of my recent works. Everything we experience, from environmental surroundings to outlooks on the future to communication with others, contain nuances of energy that transmit constantly between humans and life on Earth. With my artwork, I've been uncovering the visual elements within these unseen transmissions of energies. Using 4x5 photographic camera and video, I've been documenting the paths and interactions of this light, also with water and fire and how it reacts together. Energy has been at the center of my artworks, whether in blueprints of light emission, to the waves of aquatic bodies, to the emotional transmission within facial expressions and portraiture. The recent body of works is about waves, emissions of perception, communication, and interaction. These waves flow in action and reaction, embodying the physical and emotional catalysts of our universe. The macrocosm of understanding can be found by studying and searching within the microcosm. When speaking specifically of my transmission of light artworks, I've been seeing each single strand of light with unique characteristics that can be interpreted as a specific action or decision within an individual's path as they travel in time. It's this tapestry of time and action that weave the fabric of reality out of our own personal perceptions. That's where I am right now with
Oh,
the
that's
work.
beautiful. Yeah, no, that's it's deeper than the words you're saying.
It's just like what I've been thinking about life, it's
Yeah,
trying to put that visually through my art. Like one thing is working with a camera and, I'm just like being technical about it, but there's really like, I almost feel like a scientist, in a
sure.
strange, like not in a number technical way. It's like more like I'm like searching for something.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's what we're all. I mean, to me, art is therapy. Art is expansion. There's so many different things that maybe we don't even know we're getting out of art when we're making it, and maybe it's the unknown. Like maybe you're going through something in your physical life, but your art life might reveal the answer, and it's kind of that ebb and flow where you got to listen as much as you're taking.
Yeah, when it really hit home for me was kind of around the 4th of July, where there was so much unrest going on. There was like a lot of the Black Lives Matter. There was a lot of like the craziness of especially being in a city that had so much energy. Is like you could just feel when something outside is changing. Like you can feel when something near you, like even we saw there was like a person being beat up right outside of our window, and it's like you can like feel it the second that you hear something. It's like, I don't know, I have this like, I get like, you can, I don't know, so there's something unseen. There's like unseen waves everywhere.
Yep.
Even from like a sad child near you, like your kids, or like they're it just like pulls you. That's what I want to find. I don't know. That's where I am.
No, I thank you for reading that. That's I think it's also really important for artists to do things like that because it helps kind of center your own mission for what you do when you sit down. Because there will be times in my life where I'll just sit down and say I'm gonna create something, and then you kind of just go into this ether and it's not really focused. But I
Mhm.
think that type of it's almost like an affirmation message as well of like what you see and what you want to manifest in
Mhm.
your own self, and that's beautiful. I think um,
And a lot of what you manifest is unseen until you do it, until
yep,
like it's like a lot of the times I'll sit down and just start working on something that I didn't done in the past, or never, I let it go, or I came back to it. And it's until you're actually like doing it that it feels important sometimes. Sometimes I'm like asleep and I wake up and I find out that I have to do something, that's like I haven't done yet, as far as like creating or something with an idea of what you were like. Okay, the transmissions of light, that was Times Square. It was like I had a dream being like, you have to go to Times Square at night with your camera and do this technique that you just did in studio, that you like, if you have an unlimited amount of light, how would it look, And it blew me away because that one, like, it's like I can just all of a sudden I have like a new skill, a new vision, a new look into my art that a minute ago I hadn't, and it's not until you actually take that initiative to do it. You could have the idea and then it's like, but then you have to like go through with it and see where it takes you.
yep,
And that was the coolest, because then it was like just a few months later or a month later, I had heard like, oh, do you want to exhibit? There was something I applied to exhibit in the NFT NYC. And it was that I submitted that one piece because I heard that the show was going to be in Times Square or something like that. I'm not sure, or it was about New York or something. And it just blew my mind that it ended up being shown in Times Square.
that's amazing.
It was like, wait, what? I would have never guessed I would be in a show here, like in this situation.
And it's like you could have in a sense changed the course of your existence based on that thing you did months ago that you didn't think was consequential. Like maybe if you hadn't done that, the New York show wouldn't have been a thing, but
It wouldn't have at all. I mean, I wouldn't have had such a strong, application or like a reason for having it at that show, It made so much sense. in a way. And it was
To
such
me-
a cool event.
To me, that's like almost as you're going through life, it's almost like, yeah, you're doing the right thing. You know, it's
Yes.
just like the universe or whatever you think about. It's almost like, yes, like you just keep going. When I get those messages, it's just like, don't think too much, but just so you know you're doing the right thing, keep going down this path. So it's just like, yes, okay, cool. And you know, it just leads to the next thing. It's like the butterfly effect. It's all very connected in ways
Beautiful.
we have no idea. We're just
Yeah.
like living the movie of our lives.
Something I was thinking is like, what if, like, are we all just sensors in the world? You know, like, especially animals and birds, and everybody has their own point of view, their own perspective. Like, I feel like we're all just actual sensors of our experience on this planet together.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
In time, and in time, in a timeline too. So in like lives, in past lives, in like now lives, it's like the idea of all being connected. That's for sure on my mind.
Yep, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're talking about how you have a child. I do as well. And you know, in that respect, it's almost like it's like a big fractal, right? So like my son caught a frog, and he's holding the frog really nicely, but he was literally walking around like the backyard with the frog in his hand, like pinched. I was like, well, maybe the frog doesn't want to be pinched the whole time. Like, you know,
Right.
you do you, but like let's think about the frog here. Like maybe the frog just wants to be in his little cage instead of being like ran around like a little puppet, you know? So it's like maybe we are the frog if someone else is pinching. You know, it's like it keeps expanding, and the more you can get outside of your own like existence, I think it
Yes.
it reflects outward.
Yeah, absolutely. And same as to like what you're thinking, you know, if you're like, if you choose to think of what's holding you back, like if you focus on what's holding you back, you're never going to get past it, you know. Like I want everybody to like know, it's like every thought you have, like realize what it is, because you got to just look to the positive so that the positive comes your way. It's something that's behind a lot of the statements of my art. It's my own thing too. It's like, you know, you can have really dark times and you have to find ways to get out of them. And for me as a mother, it's like, I want to be able to teach my kids that, you know, I want to be able, like, I'm figuring it out for myself now so that I can teach that to the generation coming.
Do your kids make art? Are they into?
They're total artists. They are total artists as well. My husband's an artist. We are an artist family. It's crazy in here. It's like
But you're all in it. That's great. That's just everyone's bought in, and it's art.
yeah,
I think that's
it's so
beautiful.
fun. My son is like really into gaming and actually developing games, and he's a YouTuber now. And it's like finding his own way. He's loving the design of games and everything. That's actually what brought me to crypto to begin with. It was like researching for him, you know, to see what digital assets really mean, and blockchain is awesome for that.
I love it. Yeah, that's beautiful. So what do you have yourself like going on that you're like your own personal, like, are you doing anything in the studio right now that's exciting to you? Or
I have so many great fun ideas that I am working on, but it's like, you know, I'm between shoots and between editing, between animating. I've been kind of dabbling to see. I know I have a lot of like in studio light works coming up, like video probably. I'm updating my equipment, so it's like a little management here and there, but the communities have been taking a lot of like attention, which is great because I love being part of them, and I love sharing art with everybody. There's a lot coming. We'll see. It's all slow because I like to have a really good feeling that it's right. You know, like I wait till everything's right to be able to release it. And I know, and I think that's actually really fantastic, like to have the different platforms for different kinds of work. Like I almost feel like the different ones is like some, for me, I don't know. there's so many choices we can have right now as artists. Like some are like let's say Rarible, which is like a lot easier to tokenize. It's like more of a sketch. Like you can have like more sketches on that. You know, I want to like focus what goes on each platform a little more. But usually it just kind of like, it's like, where does it work? You know, where does it, I'm excited for Ephemera too, because I feel like I have a bunch of works that I felt were not right for a lot of these different platforms. So it's like, okay, here's my chance to make another like, you know, body of work that's seen in a different light.
So that actually brings up a question I was having. So you tokenize on multiple platforms, obviously. You do super rare, known origin. Are you also on Rarible as well? Or
Yeah.
are you thinking about it?
Oh no, I'm on
as
it.
well?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
as well. I actually have
So
some secret editions on there too, which are
like on a
not
pseudonym?
visible. I don't, you know, it's like it's called a special edition. Like I made different marketplaces in there in the beginning when it just started. That were like these whole collections where it was like parts into one whole, and then the whole was also sold. There was like there was different ones on there. I don't know. It's more of an experiment because it's like, hey, not everybody will see this. Let me actually use this because of that. You know.
Yeah, that's
I like
freeing.
that.
You know, it's
I like hiding things. You know, you never know. Like for people that are really in like collectors that want everything, it's like you have to like. It's like a fun treasure to find, you know, someday.
Yeah, I love it. And what is do you have like in terms of like the platform itself, is there, because there's different nuances to each one, is there anything that, since you're all over and you've experienced these other platforms, is there any one that you like the UI, or is there anything like specifically that you feel like you like more?
I'm currently really a big fan of known origin because you can see details.
Okay.
I am all about details. So if you can see the quality of the work I'm putting out, it's so much more valuable, I think, as far as like texture, you know, like I'm such a physical art person that I want it to be textural. I want to like feel the digital art, you know, like
Sure. So with known origin, I'm not on that platform. Is it like a zoom feature, or is it a high res download? How do you get in there and see the texture?
It's a quick zoom onto
Okay,
it,
cool.
and it just makes it nice and big and full res, which
So
is
it's like full size with like an hourglass you can kind of like roam around type of thing.
I think so. Yeah, it seems like I've been able to like see it right away, and it looks crisp, and I'm like,
cool,
bam, perfect. You know, like that's what I want. Some you can't, like Rarible is like so small, and like
yeah, exactly.
even
You don't even
super
know what you're
rare is
buying
like
sometimes.
even super rare is like I'm just a little disappointed sometimes looking at it after I tokenize it. I'm like, oh man, it's like wish I had a little more, you know.
Yep.
Yep. But you know, that's actually the first one I ever was on. So thank you for helping me get onto blockchain back then. It was like Zach and everybody like helped me to deal with the wallets back then. There was no steps, you know. It's like onboarding was a manual question and answer situation, and I'm really glad to be part of it so early. I feel like I'm at a point where I'm now onboarding, you know, friends and stuff that want to be part of it, and that's a really fun place to be able to help.
Have your friends, like, did you bring this up a year ago, and have people's responses back to you changed in that time?
You know, that since COVID happened, there's been so many artists that I haven't seen, because we used to have these salons at our space. We had a lot of art salons, like once a month. My husband was leading, you know, all these events with artists, and the last show we had in December before COVID, it was like I had finally shown. I was able to show one of my works, and it was a half blockchain, half blockchain, half print, you know, half artwork, half the pieces that were blockchain were also given to the people at the event. And most of them were like, what is this? You know, some artists were, you know, very, you know, they've been in art for a very long time, and they're like, what do you mean? But I think it's still, those people probably still don't know, but they might have heard it once or twice since. But I have a feeling it's going to be like 5 years from now that most of them will understand what they have in their pocket. When I had given it to them, I was like, you don't have to scan it in if you don't want to. If you don't want to have the digital asset, you don't have to. But if any point in the next, like if 10 years from now, you look at it and you find it, you can actually scan it in, because thanks to like Link Drop, they were people that worked with me, and they customized the whole thing to work the way I wanted it, to be able to onboard easily, like, because that's the hard part. It's like,
Sure.
Luckily with this, you could like scan it with your phone, and then it right away did a quick, either it makes you a wallet or you have a wallet already, or, it's just like, back then it was like unheard of to have like a physical item that would actually also be digital. So it's like fun to see that collection and what happens with it. I did one collection with non-blockchain artists and having it. And then the next collection was the ones that was all people who knew blockchain at the NFT NYC. So it's like 2 test subjects, like 2 test groups to see what, how many will actually scan it. It's like, again, it's an experiment and data that you don't know until later on as to what it's going to mean. And all the pieces would come together into one image, like the image that was presented on the event.
That's fascinating. And at the same time, even though we've come so far, we still can't really put our tokens up on the wall yet. It's that elusive NFT frame that everyone needs. And I think once we're able to have that high res monitor frame on our walls, that you could get up and actually look at the details of your art, and not just have to go to known origin and like hit the zoom button. I think that's, oh man, I look forward to that day, because we have these wallets of like beautiful things, but it's really hard to appreciate it other than like scrolling with your mouse.
It definitely takes a minute to get used to that idea, as to like, even though it's in your wallet, you can't really do anything with it as far as that yet.
Yeah.
But the infrastructure is being laid out, and that's the really interesting part, is like how to see how that journey is going to develop is going to be really great.
Yeah. No, I'm super stoked, and it's fun to see what you're doing, especially with the community. Everyone's stepping up in our own ways, and that's really, if it's like if everybody picked up one piece of trash, the earth would be clean, right? It's just like everyone's got to tell one artist a day about crypto art, and it helps.
Like, it's going to happen whether we want to or not, and it's our version, it's our choice to like make it what we want it to be now, so that when people come in, that's what they see. They're welcome. It's like there's an understanding between people, and new groups of people, and the established groups of people, and the collaborations that can happen, and the friendship or the community that's being built is great. Speaking of collaborations, wait, oh yeah, no, there's people commenting. I can't see any of it.
Oh no, you go ahead. I'm actually just looking at the lot of awesome, mindful, thoughtful, full of energy. Love your waves.
Thanks.
Lulu XXX, Matt Kane. There's a lot of.
I love my collectors. Thank you. It's so cool. It's really fun.
Isn't it awesome? Like Sarah Zucker. I mean, there's.
Oh, thank you everybody for watching.
Yeah, there's an awesome group in here, and I'll just throw it out there if anybody has questions. We have a couple minutes before we wrap it up here. So if you have questions,
I'm really excited for the collaboration that's coming out soon. There's like have you heard of all these flavors of crypto art?
No.
There's a big can project.
Oh, the can project, yes.
But yeah, it's like Javier and Cbot. It's like there's going to be a really cool group of cans we're all part of.
And actually, speaking of that, he made one for Crypto Art Week that's actually up on Rarible, and we don't have an event poster, right? So it's that chance to have a piece of of an event or a time, a space and time. So
Speaking of your event, look, I have your shirt. Do you remember this?
oh snap. Oh, you got the best one too.
Oh,
That's my favorite at least.
all right. I have an interesting thought with this. Like, okay, I feel like I wrote it yesterday.
Nice.
Let me see.
And I'll just give a quick backup for people who don't know what that is.
Yes, please.
I did some shirts for Super Rare for NFT NYC, and I think I did 5 shirts, and there were 5 of each, and they were tokenized. So it was kind of a limited edition giveaway, and that's
Yes.
super sick. You got one.
I know. I'm so excited. I love it. So I was curious with the idea of like physical items, and with the provenance of blockchain. So I was like, okay, in theory and relativity of items, of like collections, and of time, is like, in theory I could resell the matching NFT with the shirt, right? Like, in theory, that's like the first thing you think is like, okay, I could resell it. That's one thing. Then the next thing is like, oh, I could sell it with a special message on Scribe. It's like, okay, I can put my experience when I got it into the NFT in Scribe. And I was like, okay, now what if it goes further than that? What if an artist buys it from me and then they wear it for a while? I've worn it a few times. It's comfortable and awesome, right? It's like, what if another artist buys it from me? I sign it when I send it, and then they wear it, and then they sign it when they send it.
Wow.
And and then each one can put their own scribe as to how they felt with it. A cute little idea of like what happened when they were wearing the shirt. It's like there's so many levels that can be put into NFTs, or like into this idea of ownership, or like of living with a physical product. Is like, this will be soft. It's like, the more people wear it, the more soft it'll be. Like, it's like the idea of collectibles in general have always fascinated me. So like, it's like, what can we do? Like, how do we, like, it's collecting, like, here was one thing. Like,
that's fascinating.
I know, right? It's like, what, the idea of like this journey, like now
and instead of like keeping it in a bag forever, just be like, well, I'm never going to wear that shirt. It's like, no, the value is actually becoming the old concert t-shirt that's 20 years old.
Yeah.
That now that it has all the holes in it, that's when it actually feels good.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's like, awesome. I really love that idea.
And not only that, it could be worn by like the artists who like started the whole.
I could pre-wear all my shirts. Like, I'm going to say, like, I will wear your shirt for 2 weeks and never wash it. And then I'll send it to you.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, it's a really fun thing that is like, oh, the digital item could have a nomad life, like the nomad, the idea of like an NFT as being a nomad that's journeying through artists' experiences. I love that. I'm all over it. Collecting fame and energy as it raises in value, passing time, gaining invaluable experience and essence from its previous owners. Like,
wow, that's super deep. I really love it. And it's shared energy. It's almost like if whatever your energy of the shirt is, if you give that to somebody else, then you're almost sharing that. God, that's beautiful.
It's like, it hasn't even been mentioned ever. Like, I just love the idea of that. It's like, it came, I was like, oh, I'm gonna speak with Coldy. It's like, oh wow, I have this shirt of his. What, like, how do you make the communications more meaningful? How do you like interact with digital items in a way that could be more physical, or like have more interaction embedded in them? Like, we can't smell through the computer, we can't like feel through the computer, but the idea of items, can also transmit energy as well. So that's.
I'm completely down with that. I love it.
Awesome. Well, good. I'm glad I got your permission.
No permission needed, but affirmation of a
that's
cool
what I mean.
thought.
Yeah, that's
no, that's sick.
One. Yeah, but it's like same as like the trash art movement. The changing of art as it goes in time. That's a similar. It's just another aspect of it. There's so many different things that can happen. and I'm here to explore it.
Yeah, no, it's the time to do it. You know, like you said, we're alive now. We have to do our stuff and pass it on. And this is awesome. Let me see if we have people blowing. People are loving the chat. Is there anything we've got about 5 minutes left? Is there anything else you want to chat about, or I'm an open book.
I could talk about influences.
Yeah, I would love to hear that. Yeah.
I love Laszlo Moholy-Nagy.
Oh, yes.
Like the sculptures, the time, the experimenter, the thought of like experimenter of the moments of time. I love that. Man Ray for the fashion photography / like aesthetic, beautiful composition. Bill Viola, I've seen some of his works in person.
Oh, yeah.
And they make me cry.
Yeah.
Like, I just like, it's like something to be in a room with one of these sculptures. Usually, like they just make me bawl like right away. It's like I get very emotional with them. Same as like music, Patti Smith, or like the poetry aspect, the poetry of life. From still life perspective, my old favorite people, Guido Mocafico is like a photographer, but like he's almost a scientist in his experimenting. Check out his website. It's odd and really cool. Kenji Thomas is like a fashion still life photographer that I've always loved. I was also exploding a lot of things like burning, freezing, like
sweet, yeah.
My whole life, like as a kid, I loved chemistry experiments and just like smashing stuff and like burning it.
You're into texture. You're into tactilities.
Life and of vitality and like changes of energy, like like reactions. Again, action, reaction, both of those. Laurie Anderson, also for sound, like for sound, Bjork. Like, I mean, these things are the things I love.
It's fun to hear that, because when I look at your art, it's always good to kind of have that the back of your mind, like, oh, it's just getting inside the artist's head a little bit more, like, oh, she might have been listening to this music. It all just, when you're collecting art, you're also collecting the artist and not the art, right? So you're buying a piece of the artist in a sense. And I think it's been awesome to spend this time and just be able to have that discourse, because it just adds to the story. And I appreciate you doing that.
We're all magnets, we're all like magnets of what we want, of what we're thinking about. So like,
yep, good or bad.
Yeah. So influence is like good to have an idea of like who those are, so that you can kind of understand where they are drawn and why some might be drawn to my work and some won't. It's like if you're different planets of thought, it's it's everybody's flavor.
Yep.
Flavor.
I love it. Well, thank you a bunch, Gisel Florez. Everybody, please check out her work on Super Rare, Known Origin, and Rareable, correct?
Yeah, and also Atomic Assets and Booleanics. I mean, I actually have a link tree with everything.
Perfect.
Nice and neat. My CV, like everything links there. My website.
What's your website so people can check it out?
GiselFlorez.com.
Okay.
You just have to spell it right. And the artist website too, like New York Ice Cream Gallery is like, our initiative for creating communities. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm so excited for everybody to be here. And this last minute choice was like, I have to take the open door,
I'm honored to have you in here. It's awesome. So
thanks for asking.
Yep. Yeah, thanks again. It's been a pleasure, and we'll stay in touch. And I can't wait to see your shows coming up and everything. So keep up the awesome work.
Thank you. Good luck for the rest of your interviews.
Thank you. Cool. Take care. And everyone, coming up next at 1:00, we have Art and Technology for the Culture. It's another stacked lineup, and take a bio break and come on back, because we got more stuff